the power to kill.
Hello everyone, welcome back to FilmHead. Some of great movies are released in recent days of 2024 for you. So we are back to give you some idea of that movies to watch in theater of any OTT platform like Netflix, Prime Video, Apple TV, HBO Max, Disney Plus, or Hulu on internet. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily new update of new movies. So let's start. Number 10. They Turned Us Into Killers. The rape revenge drama They Turned Us Into Killers, directed by Thomas Walton, appears to be headed in the right direction. Walton is trying to tell a story of those affected by sexual assault, reclaiming their sense of self, and turning the tables on bad people. It's a noble goal. With that said, the film doesn't work on every level. In fact, it falls short in several different categories. Despite a talented cast, the acting is frequently challenging. The script is unpolished. In the setup, Karma is exposed to strong narcotics by her boyfriend BJ. After Karma is incapacitated, BJ starts to sexually abuse her. Karma's tragic experience sends her on a downward spiral that culminates in her suicide. After Justice passes away, Star, her closest friend, decides to get revenge on Karma and hold those who wronged her accountable. Number 9. Blood for Dust. The crime thriller Blood for Dust is about hard, brutal men. The film, which was directed by Rod Blackhurst from a screenplay by David Ebeltoft, immediately establishes its genre with its graphic opening scene and sticks with it for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes. At its core is a standout performance by Scoot McNairy, on par with the greatest of the genre's history in neo-noir. Blood for Dust is also an action thriller and follows a traveling salesman named Cliff. Cliff is given the chance to escape his unfortunate circumstances through a job offer by his old friend. Though hesitant, Cliff accepts, only to discover he's been thrust into a dangerous gun and drug-running ring by a ruthless cartel leader. In the end, though, Cliff is the darker character because he does still have self-awareness, guilt, and the ghostly afterimage of a code. His criminality is born of despair, and that film noir hero's belief that the system is rigged against the little guy and it's better to lash out and risk destroying yourself than let the days go by. The entire cast operates at a peak level of craft, but McNairy's subtle, reactive performance helps elevate them all. The movie is good, but he's great. Number 8. Something in the Water. Something in the Water attempts to blend serious themes with a shark attack, but falls short emotionally and narratively. Though the film doesn't tread a lot of new water, it still functions as a serviceable killer shark picture with a strong cast, solid cinematography, and a couple of intense sequences. A group of 5 girlfriends are followed in Something in the Water as they get together for a dreamy wedding celebration in a tropical island. The women board a tiny boat for an island vacation, but the fun is severely dampened when one of the women gets bitten by a shark. The group of 5 sprints for the coast, only to capsize on a reef, leaving them trapped in the middle of the water. Something in the Water actually does a good job of making its cast seem like they actually are friends, something a lot of these films fail badly at. That's a combination of both the script and good performances by the cast, concentrating more on drama and suspense than action and attack scenes. Something in the Water at least attempts to do something different from most shark attack films. Number 7. A Chef's Deadly Revenge. This film is directed by Alexandra Carrier. A Chef's Deadly Revenge revolves around the life of Lucy Gerhard, who has recently opened her restaurant. Lucy is a great chef, but her life takes a swift turn when she is constantly stalked by someone. Things start to escalate toward the worst very fast as lives are lost, and Lucy becomes a victim. After leaving an abusive relationship, Lucy relocated to a new location where she is now living out her childhood ambition of owning her own gourmet restaurant and serving as the head chef. She meets the envious Frank, whose family owned the cafe at her new location before, and she starts to get frequent abuse. Lucy flips the script on Frank and enters his life since she has had enough of violent guys in her life. Number 6. Chief of Station. Chief of Station revolves around a lot of action, espionage, and intrigue. In the movie, Aaron Eckhart plays Ben Malloy, a former CIA station commander who suffers a horrible accident that claims the life of his wife, a former operative. But when he unearths a massive cover-up, this ex-agent decides to return to the field to unravel the mystery. As Ben travels to Eastern Europe, His investigation reveals a conspiracy that rocks everything he knew about his wife's death. Chief of Station is a serviceable thriller with, as usual, a strong lead performance by Eckhart. The script feels undercooked, with an over-reliance on fistfights and loud explosions. Still, the quick pace and adrenaline give the film enough momentum to complete its mission. The espionage thriller is a common trope in movies. Plots are often sparse in favor of high-stakes action and explosive spectacles. The beats are as follows. An upstanding agent is caught up in an act of betrayal. Next, the agent works to break the conspiracy and ultimately save the day. These elements have become standard elements in these types of films. This is a nice-looking movie. Johnson makes use of European locations and employs cool, run-down industrial settings to excellent effect. Overall, this feels like a substantially larger budget than Johnson often has to work with, and he puts it all there on the screen for us to see. Number 5. Cash Out. Cash Out is a 2024 American action film directed by Ives. There is puzzlement about some character relationships within the bank heist thriller Cash Out. It is a mission to break into a safety deposit box that has a wallet with information leading to $6 million in cryptocurrency. Career criminal and ringleader Mason has a history with the on-site FBI agent Amelia negotiating the heist. She was once a member of the group and seemingly romantically entwined with Mason, prepared to live peacefully on an island following one final big score. As the prologue reveals, she was undercover, but her feelings may or may not have been real. The real thrills come from Mason communicating with his ex-girlfriend Amelia, who formerly posed as his lover for 2 long years as a literal partner in crime, while actually working undercover with the feds to build an epic case against him. Their flirtation over the phone sends Amelia into disarray, as Mason entices her with, "let's get outta here," kinds of plans after all this. Number 4. Exhuma. Exhuma brings a fresh twist to horror movies, mixing in cool stuff like old-school Chinese vampire movies where mantra papers and rice can stop vampires. It's unique because it dives into shaman stuff, using all kinds of tools and rituals to deal with ghosts. It is a spectacular cinematography and insane acting performances. The horror element is effective with a good amount of reasoning behind the plot, though the way it turns out at the end might be a little anticlimactic for some. The third act takes a weird tone shift after all the amazing build-ups that were done earlier. More specifically, its resolution part was given a superpower treatment instead of supernatural ones. Still, the historical and geopolitical backstory had lots of details which are quite logical, and their quality suspense holds well enough to make this an excellent movie overall. The ensemble cast delivers stellar performances, crafting moments that will undoubtedly send shivers down your spine. The well-crafted story, expertly helmed by the director, keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Exhuma is a refreshing movie that showcases the culture of burial practices and East Asian feng shui. The actors are outstanding in their roles, bringing depth and authenticity to the film. All in all, Exhuma is a must-watch film. Number 3. Arcadian. The latest film in Nicolas Cage's vast and rapidly growing filmography is Arcadian, an action horror movie from director Ben Brewer. As one of the most talented actors currently in the business, Cage plays a loving father who is doing his utmost to keep his teenage boys alive in a dangerous post-apocalyptic world. Cage has a fine role in it, and his more restrained performance is a welcome reminder of the wide range he still has. Arcadian opens with Paul fleeing what is obviously the end of the civilization, represented by sirens and explosions buried in the sound design, off in the distance. In a hiding spot, he cradles 2 infant twin boys. Cut to 15 years later, when Paul lives with his teen sons Joseph and Thomas. Without spoiling it, let's just say it involves a sleeping Joseph, an open panel in a door, and a wide shot that feels like it goes on forever in order to ratchet up maximum tension, alternating between terror and sentimentality until its final moments. Arcadian is another solid addition to Cage's genre filmography. The film has enough of its own style and flavor to stand out. Number 2. Last Night at Terrace Lanes. Last Night at Terrace Lanes adopts a slasher approach, but maintains a humorous tone. The film, from director Jamie Nash and written by YA horror author Adam Cesare, has a great logline. What if a killer cult attacked a bowling alley? A high school girl on a date from hell must team up with her survivalist dad to fight off a murderous cult that breaks into a bowling alley on its last night of business. A group of murderous cult members dressed in identical blue tracksuits and white masks, intent on killing every single person on the premises. The group is acting on orders from their leader Dove, a numbers-obsessed figure who directs them to terrace lanes for a mission with a fixed deadline. On the plus side, the film features several sequences that make good use of Kennedy's bowling talents. These moments, as well as Capaldi's inherent likability, ensure the film is watchable and even fun at points. Overall, the premise and the father-slash-daughter backstory in Last Night at Terrace Lanes are both solid. Number 1. Abigail. Abigail is the most top-rated film till now in 2024's horror genre. Abigail is a delightful surprise, a film that dances elegantly on the line between horror and comedy. With a wacky high concept and a stellar ensemble cast, this movie takes the well-worn vampire trope and infuses it with a fresh, balletic twist. The story of a group of kidnappers who find themselves outwitted by a child-sized vampire ballerina is both original and captivating. The group of kidnappers who capture the daughter of a powerful underworld figure and demand $50 million for her release, unaware the young girl is actually a vampire. It stars Alicia Weir as Abigail. They are going to have to fight for their survival. It's a pretty basic plot, but it goes a long way with how they figure out how to survive. Each character is different from the others. Even though some of them are cliches, it's fun to see some of those cliches play out. Some characters are written better than others, but this isn't necessarily a film where you're going to pay attention to that as much. There are so many twists and turns, each surprising the other. There are also some pretty laugh-out-loud moments in it as well. The humor within the film is enough to make it enjoyable without turning the film itself into a full-blown comedy, keeping it true to its horror-slash-thriller nature. The cast all gave absolutely amazing performances, creating characters that you come to either love or hate. Overall, Abigail could be one of the best horror movies to come out of 2024 and is worth every penny.